Welcome to another Kings of War 3rd Edition Battle Report. Rematch. Orcs versus Northern Alliance. 2,000 points. Invade. So this is a rematch between Paulie's Northern Alliance forces and my Orcs. The last time I played him, he slobber knocked me. Just probably the worst I've ever lost a game. So this is my chance at revenge, and this time, uniquely, I actually put all of my units on the table. One of the things I did not do, though, was adjust this army list, and I should have known it from the last time. I do not have enough inspiring in this army list for a force of this size. I probably need minimum 2 and could hope for 3, but I have not made the adjustment to this list. So we'll just have to see how the game pans out, but I'm a lot better prepared this time than the last time. So this is my turn 1. I kind of pushed everything forward. I was trying for an echelon formation anchored to the right flank. So that was my goal in life anyway. I thought I could do a little bit better, but realized that the orc units are so big that sometimes they really get in each other's way. In this case I did. I should have double stacked some units instead of spreading out like I did, but I didn't spread all the way to the whole side of the table. So I thought I could use some of the buildings as an advantage, not to be flanked, just using those. But in reality, anything he charged me in the flank was probably not going to do enough to break my units, and I would be able to kill them easily in return. So that's my goal in this game, is to try to push forward to get near the middle line, and then at the last turn or the last couple turns, go ahead and push across and try to go for the win. Alright, so this is Paulie's first turn, and as usual, shooting abuses my army. I take 3 on my axe horde over on the left side, and 3 on my axe regiment on my right side. Last game I actually lost an axe regiment before it ever did anything. So this game, at least I got to move one time before I lost him. He moved his tundra wolves really fast down my flank, and he moved his stow foxes that direction as well. Didn't move nearly anything else in the game. It just was content to shoot me, angled his chimera a little bit, but that was pretty much it for this turn. So on my turn 2, I kind of pushed everything forward, try to keep stuff online, protect the flanks of some of my units. On the right side, I kind of pushed more aggressively. I was trying to get to the woods so that if he charged me, he would be hindered. And that's kind of my goal in this game, is to push hard and try to get across the middle line with the horde and the troop and the other Morax regiment there. Try to get across the line there, and if I could destroy his left flank, I could easily win the game, because I don't think his other stuff can score enough points compared to my unit strength. So the thing I did this turn that's kind of unremarkable is I healed my axe horde for 3 wounds and got him back up with my God Speaker. So that was a good thing. I mean, I've used him the last game, probably didn't use him as well as I did this game, but the God Speaker with the Shroud is really, really good as far as keeping the orc army in the game. So you can see he moved more aggressively on my left side with his tundra wolves to try to do something. On the right, pretty much he stood still. His shooting was, I mean, if you have the shooting advantage, why not use it? And so he put 3 wounds on my axe regiment, this next to my long axe unit, and he didn't do any more damage to the other axe unit that I had, which was fortunate for me, since I didn't have a healer on both ends of the battle. So really not much happening in this turn, but trying to set things up for later turns. Alright, so I like to hope that Paulie and I are 2 KG veterans. I kind of moved everything up. He had wavered my axe regiment. I healed them up, so even though they had no wounds on them, they were wavered from the previous turn. Pushed hard on the right flank, trying to provoke his giant and his trolls to charge and see what I could do to them. Paulie is really, really good at fighting on both flanks, and so I think you'll see that as the game evolves, and my goal, of course, is just to play this scenario and try to get across the middle line with as many unit strength as possible. So on this turn, his shooting on my Gore Riders and the resulting morale checks are off the hook. Thank God I had a ASB and the War Drum there to keep them around. But he managed to waver them, and I think that's actually after I healed some wounds. No, maybe not. I think he just did 2 wounds and rolled really, really high and wavered that unit. No charges yet from the Northern Alliance, and we'll have to see what the next turn brings. So somewhere I forgot to take a picture. At some point he charged his Tundra Wolves into my Morax troop and did 4 wounds, but I was able to stay. I mean, they're nice that they're unbreakable. They have fairly low morale, and I didn't have my War Drum over there because I was too busy trying to keep my Gore Riders alive. Everything else just kind of shuffled forward. I put the unit of Axe there on the hill, and even I hate getting charged in the flank, but on the other hand, if I could charge them back, it may not be a total waste. So anyway, I was kind of setting the trap there on my right flank and hoping that maybe the giant or the trolls charged. Maybe the trolls would charge the horde and the giant would charge the troop, and I would be able to get rid of them both. And that was my thought anyway. We'll have to see what happened. Alright, so my Morax troop got rid of his Tundra Wolf unit, and the Godspeaker had healed him back too. Didn't really want to move yet. I was just trying to wait till they get to the very last turn or close to the last turn and try to move across the line with hopefully massive force, and we'll have to see how that goes. Over on the right, I was trying to set up a trap for the trolls, and the giant ended up pivoting my horde over there, and I was figuring I would rather take the giant in the flank than to take that Chimera in the flank. So I did that, but he went ahead and charged past into my Axe regiment, and with his flying hero as well, charged them in the rear. Alright, so my turn 5, I'm starting to move out of the woods and trying to get into a game-winning position. On the right flank, he had killed, of course, my Morax troop, and then I charged him with my Morax regiment. And the smart thing he did was to pivot that unit afterwards so that I would have to clip the back of that damn woods, and I was hindered. So I only did 4 wounds, and probably should have done double that, to be honest, if I hadn't been hindered. And then I went ahead and tilted the other horde back into position toward the giant. So since the Chimera wasn't really a threat right now, in the middle I moved forward and started trying to cross the line because I figured I could jam up his Naiad horde, which had the most of his unit strength. On the right side, I just got abused by shooting on my Boar Riders. I mean, it shouldn't have been that good. He was just rolling dice out his ass. And of course, being me, I always have to say better lucky than good, because easily that Axe unit could have had a devastating effect on. I'm sorry, that Gore Rider unit could have had a devastating effect on the game, but that wasn't to be. The other horde moved forward on the left-hand side, and the other troop moved there. With all the characters are cuddled in behind them, trying to avoid that flat flying guy. I even have my Crutcher down in the corner, waiting for that dragon if it decides to come this direction to see if I could ground it. So over on my right flank, the counter charged by the trolls, and I think his little assassin guy charged into the back of the Morax unit, and both of them rolled out their ass. I think they did like 15 wounds between the both of them, which is troubling. But really, I can't do anything about it. I mean, I had set up a pretty good ambush over there for him, but just wasn't to be for some reason. The dice absolutely hated me, and now my Gore Rider unit, they're gone. They got shot to death on the last turn, end of his 4. I mean, I'd healed them back up, and they weren't in such bad shape, but then all of a sudden it just happened all over again. So this turn, his Chimera turns around toward the back of 2 of my units, and so that ain't good. And so I'm going to have to figure out some plan to deal with that. I'm really bottled up down here on the left-hand flank by the stupid woods. I probably need to, whatever item I put on one of my hordes, they're going to have to put, I put Caterpillar, I think, on the Gore Riders, but I probably need to think of either using a couple of regiments to get around things easier, or just position better with that horde, because they're really, I could not get them around that fast enough or through that woods fast enough to score. So that's my bad. Plus, there was that unit of Housecarls and that unit of archers that were trying to keep me from doing that. But I mean, I would have tried my best just to plow through those, but we'll have to see how it goes. So it's coming rapidly up on the end of the game. All I had to go ahead and turn my long action unit around toward the Chimera. I don't know if he could have broke me, but a rear charge with a pretty damn good chance of it happening. And a front charge, there's no chance of it happening because of my phalanx. The Axe regiment, I went ahead and charged it into his naiads for one reason. I knew he couldn't move far enough if he fought me the turn to get across the middle line, especially with my other units standing there. The unit on the left emerged from the woods along with the troop and all the characters. The war drum, I was trying to get across because I think he's a scoring unit, but he's just standing out in the open. Probably going to be archer bait. The Crudger runs running up toward the dragon to see if he can, if he decides to do something silly with it next turn, maybe I can ground him at least. Over on the right flank, my horde over there was going to catch hell because it's going to get hit by the giant, the trolls, ice trolls, and the assassin hero. So their chance at living is not very high. The one thing I did edit into the picture is the thin line, and that's actually marking where the middle of the table is. We use the thick lines that come with Ultimate Battle, but it's kind of hard sometimes to see where things are. So I was just really trying to make sure that my unit was more over on his side of the table than it was on my side of the table. And I think I did that. I mean, I was just grasping to try to win. There was nothing I could do after this. I mean, this is turn 6, and desperately hoping there wasn't a turn 7. So this is the last turn that I have a picture for, and of course the most important turn since it's the last one. Over on the right flank, the combination of the giant and the trolls and the assassin killed my horde, and it wasn't like slightly killing them. I mean, they rolled out their wazoo and just destroyed them. Now, one of the things I'd done in my previous turn was to move that axe regiment into his naiads, even though I knew they weren't going to get hurt. But I was kind of hoping it'd pull the Chimera over across the table, which it did. He rear charged the axe the axe regiment, and destroyed it. But now his Chimera is stuck on the other side of the table, not where it was before. Down at the bottom, his housecarls charged into my orc axe horde, and they did some wounds to it, but did not break them. And so, I mean, I'm in not a good shape in this game, but that long axe horde has a high unit strength, and so the fact that they're across the middle line, let's say if you saw from the previous picture, you can see where the middle line is, and that's the fat line that usually comes with Ultimate Battle. So I scored with that unit. He scored with his housecarls, who were more than halfway across, and with his snow foxes, and so that gave me a 4-3 victory. If he would have just left the Chimera over on the side of the table, it would have been a draw. And if it had been turn 7, I would have lost for damn sure, because all he had to do was move the trolls across the line, and easily would have won the game. And I say that, but I might have been able to get maybe kill the housecarls, but that wasn't a high likelihood. But I did have a Banechan over there to help out. It could happen, but it didn't, and so I was able to pull off a win. Okay, so for my final thoughts, the thing I tried to do this game was to keep the objective in mind, the objective of crossing the center line with as much unit strength as possible. I think I probably moved too fast on my right flank, and I just didn't want to have to fight his trolls when they were in the woods. I wanted to get into the woods myself so that I could potentially kill them. And probably moved too fast over there, but I was kind of doing echelon to see if he would spin around me. And actually ended up getting more lucky. I mean, I was bitching about luck in the game about there, but the not having a turn seven. Turn seven, it would have been his game, but at turn six, it's my game, and so that was huge. And I got lucky to win. I'll just have to say it. I was messing with him yesterday about being lucky on some stuff, but I was lucky to win this game. But I really do think though that I was working my plan and I was hoping that the outcome would be good. So it turned out it was okay. I think maybe he waited too long to move his center. I mean, he should easily won the game. Uh, the It's just hard for this my army to handle the large flyer and the giant and stuff because they really don't have a whole lot that can deal with it. So I'm going to go back and revise this army list, add more inspiring. Oh my God, I can't even believe I didn't. For some reason in my mind, I thought a God speaker had inspiring, and of course it doesn't. So I'm going to have to drop something to put some more characters in the list to help out with the flyers. Maybe even swap with the axe horde down into some smaller units instead of having that one big unit because they do kind of get in each other's way because they're just so big. Uh, Maybe throw some snotlings or something in there, too, for some more chaff. But I was just getting killed by shooting this game, and he doesn't have a lot of shooting, but it was working. It was very, very effective. So again, totally lucky I won this one. Paulie is a veteran player. He exploits everything I do wrong, and I learned a lot playing him. I mean, I've changed so much stuff in my playing style just over the last few weeks, just because of lessons I've learned from playing him. And I hope he's maybe learned something from me, except that I bitch a lot about dice. But anyway, again, I learned a lot from him, and I'll see some of the moves he makes that maybe I wouldn't make, but then I see how they turn out, and that and sometimes he sets up a trap and I just drive right into it like a big old truck driving down a road. So anyway, again, I learned a lot from Polly. Like playing him a lot. I like bitching at him a lot, but this was a great game.